Welcome to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and it is not Friday. It's Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and I want to welcome you back from the long weekend. Obviously, I'm still in the long weekend because I thought it was Friday, but it's not Friday. It's Tuesday. All right, Money Chat Now is brought to you, of course, as always, by Investor Schooling. You can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. Hey, you can learn about real estate investing, you can learn about stock options trading, you can learn about the stock market, and you can see me in one of these cool jackets. All right. Just a reminder, if you like the show, hit that share button right now and share it with someone who will benefit. Hit that like button and let me know you enjoy the show, and of course, leave comments and get involved. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. On today's show, we're going to be discussing a typical market update, the endless government money. We're going to be talking about Morgan Stanley downgrading the U.S. stock market. El Salvador adopts Bitcoin as currency. The crypto crash right after that, right? Well, let's see, is farmers still a play? And let's talk about the economy slowdown. So first of all, let's get right into it. The Dow and S&P and NASDAQ. The Dow Jones Industrial fell on Tuesday amid lingering concerns about the Delta variant's impact on economic reopening. Oh, stop it, I have to do this. Oh, stop it with the Delta variant. The Delta variant's not the problem. The Delta variant, the real problem with, well, the Delta variant's the problem, but the Delta variant's not the problem. The Delta variant is making people go nuts. It's making all these money managers go, what are these dumbass Democrats going to do next? Are they going to cause another problem or another closing or another mandate? That's what's really going on. And that's why the Delta variant is affecting the stock market. Don't ever think that it's anything else. By the way, the Dow dropped actually about 270 points, I believe was the last time I looked. Yeah, 270 points. And the S&P fell about 0.22%, but the NASDAQ, of course, actually hit a new record. You know, when the NASDAQ hits a new record and the Dow drops, it's always a fascinating week. So watch what happens. What's going to happen this week. It's going to be really fascinating because it's always a crazy week when we see the NASDAQ go up and the Dow go down. Let's talk a little bit about the endless government money. So the Biden administration today proposed a stopgap measure to fund the government. All right, so if you guys don't understand, what happens is the government has to come up with a budget. If they don't come up with a budget, then they close all funding. So in 2021 fiscal year is up at the end of September, and the government has not resolved the budget yet. What does it mean? Well, here's the reality and the legality. The legality is that the government will shut down because it can't pay the bills, employees, or utilities. This will spark a wave of furloughs for federal workers until Congress passes a funding bill. So has this happened in the past? Yes, it has. But just so you know, essential services often related to public safety, the armed forces, and others continue to operate and are reimbursed when they appropriate the necessary funds. And so do the federal government workers, and they get paid. So in other words, they go on furlough, and they go on furlough a day, 2 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever the government does. And all of a sudden, the government gets money and says, hey, here you go. You guys were on furlough. We're going to pay you anyway. So the government workers right now, because this has happened before, the government workers right now are going, please don't pass the budget. Please don't pass the budget. Please don't pass the budget. Please don't pass the budget, because I'm going to get a paid vacation. And that's basically what they get. It amazes me how they get away with this year after year after year. Hey, listen, I wish they would do that with my company, because if they do it with my company, I could put everybody on furlough, and then the government can give me money to pay them. Oh, wait a minute. They actually did that last year with PPP money. Oops. Okay. As part of the stopgap bill, the White House is asking for $6.4 billion to assist with the relocation, security, and humanitarian efforts of vulnerable Afghans recently evacuated out of the war-weary country. So now that President Biden has basically botched this entire escape from Afghanistan plan, now they need $6.4 billion to try to solve some of the problems that were created by this. The majority of the funds are for the Department of Defense and state to support processing sites overseas and the United States, as well as government transportation for all our allies and partners between processing sites, explained a Biden administration official. So this is really, what's really going on here is if they say, listen, now, if the Republicans go in here and they say, listen, we don't want to allow this to happen, we're going to vote this down, you can't vote it down because there's so much unrest in Afghanistan, and our people are there. Some of our Americans are there, and other people in Afghanistan are there, and it turns into a humanitarian effort instead of, hey, let's get a budget passed. So if they play it this way, they're actually going to get the Republicans to vote on it, even if the Republicans don't want to vote on it. That's basically what's happening here. And it's typical politics, and I got to tell you, if you ask me, I think it's very smart. I think the Democrats playing this is very smart. They're going to make it look like if the Republicans say no, they're going to make it look like, hey, see, it's their fault. They don't care about people. Pretty common. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Morgan Stanley and how they slashed its rating on U.S. equities, anticipating a rocky road into October as the Federal as the Federal Reserve prepares to dial back its easy monetary policy. We see a bumpy September-October as the final stages of a mid-cycle transition play out, Morgan Stanley Chief Cross-Asset Strategist Andrew Sheets said in a note. Can you imagine having a title that's called the Chief Cross-Asset Strategist? I don't even know if there's a business card big enough for that title. Obviously, there might not be a business card big enough for this guy. The next 2 months carry out an outstanding risk to growth, policy, and a legislative agenda. We lower U.S. equities to underweight, and prefer stocks in Europe and Japan. So basically, Morgan Stanley is telling you to stop investing in the United States and invest in Europe and Japan. Okay. I don't even know what to say to that. The bank maintained its year-end target for the S&P 500 at 4,000, which represents a roughly 12% decline from today's close, basically, or Friday's close, of 4,500. It's among the most bearish views on Wall Street, as the average year-end target from the top strategist stands at 43.22, according to a CNBC market strategist survey. So there are people who are saying that this is going to be terrible. There are people who say it's actually going to be going up. So no one really knows. I'm kind of on the fence as well. I think it's kind of at an interesting point at 4,500. But still, I think we have a little bit more growth. I definitely don't think we're going to hit 4,000. We get at 4,200. We get at 4,300. And I think that's bad if it happens. But I still don't see us hitting 4,000. If it did, boy, would that be rough. Okay. So the real question is, should we have puts on the S&P? Hey, if you're a player and you want to play puts on the S&P, it might be a play just because the news alone will push it down just a little bit. So if you're a put player, you want to put puts on the S&P, that may be a play for you. But I wouldn't put too much money in it. Is what I would do. This will be a little bit of fun. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Bitcoin and El Salvador.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse, and we've been talking a little bit about the market update. We've been talking about how COVID has affected the market, and it's not necessarily COVID itself that's affected the market, but it's the fear of what the governors or the Democrat governors are going to do. That's the real problem. We've also been talking about endless government money because the government has all the money they want to do anything they want to do, so they're going to approve this new budget that we talked about earlier. Let's get into El Salvador and Bitcoin. Now, this is kind of cool. I realize this is kind of old news, but it's actually official as of today. But it's kind of neat that El Salvador is set to adopt the largest cryptocurrency as legal tender, which is Bitcoin, becoming the first country to do so. The market action is unsurprising, according to the CEO of Valkyrie Investments, who says the news was largely priced into the market a while ago because the news came out that it was going to happen. When this move was first announced, it didn't have nearly as big of an impact on price as some may have expected it might, possibly because El Salvador's population is less than New York City's, but also because the announcement was light on details and people were on the fence about how this was going to be implemented, she said. She also noted that much of El Salvador lives in poverty. I'm sorry, but this makes me laugh. She noted that most of El Salvador lives in poverty and doesn't have the internet or smartphone access required to participate in the Bitcoin network. So now we have El Salvador adopting Bitcoin, but people can't use it because they don't have internet. Okay, well, whatever. Transaction fees, processing times, and other hurdles also make this feel more like a beta test rather than a solution to many of the problems plaguing the country's poor. So this to me is the reason why it's actually a good thing, because it actually, to me, I call it is a beta test. It's exactly what it is. You know, you have a small country with limited people with access to this, and we're going to see what they're going to do with it. And if they do it and it works, that means that they can move it into other places. So I actually think there's a positive thing. As part of the new law, businesses will be required to accept Bitcoin for goods and services, though merchants who aren't technically able to accept Bitcoin will be exempt. The government has installed 200 Bitcoin ATMs around El Salvador. I could just imagine how much the government is getting for each Bitcoin transaction, because it's always about the money. The government also bought 400 Bitcoins worth about 20 million and is preloading the recommended Shivo wallet with $30 worth of Bitcoin for El Salvadorans to register. So now if you're a El Salvadorian and you want to use this, you would download this app and you get $30 for free, or $30 worth of Bitcoin for free. Now, this is kind of cool because they did this basically to get and moving to make people want to do it. Now, you know, we talk about in the United States right now, we're talking about papers and registering people and making sure we know where people are. I hate to tell you, but a Bitcoin wallet or any other wallet is going to be able to tell you where you are just like your cell phone will. But we'll talk about that when it happens. It's going to happen, folks. We're just going to be, all of us are going to be tracked. We're doing it voluntarily anyway with our phones, so it really doesn't matter. But just understand that this is just another way to track us and to keep tabs on us. All right. However, now this is kind of interesting because the next topic is crypto crashed today. I can't believe crypto crashed today. As soon as I got excited about it, it crashes. So Bitcoin is down 11%, Ethereum is down 14%, and it's all on the heels of El Salvador adapting the electronic currency. All right, so, you know, it is what it is. It crashes. Now, I don't think one had to do with the other. I think it's just that people were profit taking. Look, Bitcoin hit 50. People got panicking, like, oh, you know, if it doesn't stay up here, I should take my money. Ethereum hit 4,000, and it's the same thing. I better take my money. So Ethereum is, you know, one of my favorite plays, actually, and I need to see real quick. I want to see what it is. So Ethereum is sitting at 3,400. It was at 4,000 this weekend, and that's, it's not dangerous. It just annoys me. And then, of course, we got Dogecoin, which is my other favorite. And let's see where Dogecoin is, because Dogecoin is actually at 25 now, and it hit 31. So I kind of wish that didn't happen, but hey, it is what it is. I'm also, like I said, I got a couple of grand. I probably got, not a couple of grand. I got about 15, 20 grand in here that I threw in here for fun just to see what would happen, and I'm just going to play it out and let it go. All right, let's get to the next topic. We're going to talk about pharma no longer being a play. Now, look, this is completely on my own. Some of these articles I get from Wall Street Journal and CNBC, but this is my own opinion, and based on some things I've been reading, I put this together. So I see J&J, Pfizer, and Moderna to no longer be plays as the vax market will start to dry up despite politicians' efforts to boost the stocks. I mean, get people vaxxed. With that being said, Moderna popped about 20 points today. It's kind of funny, right? Is it a good time for a put? It might be. It really might be. J&J today fell about 4 points. And I'll tell you, last week I said J&J was a put at 178, and I was dead on, man. It hit about 170 today. That would have been an awesome play. But I didn't have the money to play it because I was in other things. Anyway, so by the way, J&J fell 4 points today, but also it could also be on news that it was downgraded by Morgan Stanley. I wouldn't be surprised if they downgrade everything else, including Moderna, because again, you know, many people are expecting these stocks to go up because of the booster shot boom, and I believe it's going to be a disaster to count on the booster to drive profits. So if you think about this, according to the authority on the matter, Google, only 51% of all Americans are vaccinated. I would tend to estimate that only about 60% of those will get the booster, which means somewhere near 35% of Americans are going to get the booster. Now, if they make the same mistake they made before, which is, let's create as much vaccine as we can, let's create as much booster as we can, they're going to get in trouble. They're going to be stuck with this, and they're not going to be able to make the money they're going to make off it. Now, you do understand that part of that, the government is paying for it, and I believe the government says, hey, listen, make this much, so we're paying for it anyway. So they're going to get paid for it, but I'm also not sure if that's going to work the same way. Who knows? Maybe the government will say for every shot you give, now you get paid. Whatever. Either way, it's your choice. You want to be vaccinated. It's your choice if you want to get the booster. But remember that, they promised us that if you got the vaccine, you wouldn't have to wear a mask and you could travel again. And all this is total crap now because it's not happening. You still have to wear masks. You can't travel. And now in Bucks County, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, the schools are mandated for masks again. Mandated for masks. This is insane. How does this idiot Governor Wolf mandate masks when no one else is mandating masks, and he does it using some coward who he appointed as the temporary health whatever the heck she is, and now all the people in school have to wear masks, and there's huge protests. I can't wait till this happens. I can't wait till this stops. Let's talk a little bit about the economy slowing down. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. economy is facing a slowdown in September rather than the takeoff it once hoped for. Once again, this is being blamed on the Democrat variant. I mean the Delta variant. Businesses and consumers are reworking plans to adjust to renewed mask mandates, travel restrictions, event cancellations, and delayed office reopenings. Consumers are pulling back on purchases, and employers have slowed down hiring. Economists are downgrading their forecasts, and even the Stevie Nicks concert was canceled. Man! The pace of hiring plummeted in August as restaurants and stores cut staff. Employers overall added 235,000 jobs, as you remember from last week. We talked about the jobs report, down 1 million in June and July. The University of Michigan's measure of consumer sentiment fell late in August, so now consumers aren't even happy anymore. And it fell to the lowest level in a decade. With Americans saying they're worried about the Delta variant and rising inflation. And I'm going to tell you something right now. It's not the Delta variant. It's the issue. It's the fear of what government overreach will do this time. If the government does what they did the last time and overreach and destroy businesses again, that's going to fear people. That's what's causing this problem right now. All right, look, we got to run over to let me do this real quick. Let me finish this up. Inflation is also a big problem among the end of the stay-at-home and don't-work bonus. So what's basically happened is the stay-at-home and don't-work bonus just ended. If you guys didn't hear that, the unemployment has ended. And look, I'm going to tell you, all you people who were dumb enough to stay on the stay-at-home and don't-work bonus program, guess what? If you would have gotten a job a month ago, you would have been paid more because there were less applicants out there. People were desperate to hire. Now, guess what? You're desperate to get a job. So when you're getting $12 an hour and the guy they hired 3 months ago is getting $18 an hour, that's what happens when you get free money. You get your life destroyed. Sorry, haha. All right, we're going to go to commercial and we'll talk to you in a couple minutes.
Hey, if you were listening to Investor Schooling Live today, I'm Phil Falcone, and I made the decision today on air that I'm going to be giving away this car. You want to take a look at it? Let's do it. How would you like to pop your top without ever getting out of the car? Huh? It's pretty cool. You can do it at a red light. You can do it when you see it rainy. You can actually even do it when you're driving, as long as you don't go maybe faster than 10 miles an hour. So I am giving away this car. Why? Is it because I'm crazy? Is it because I'm rich? Is it because of both? Take your pick. I don't care. Let me tell you about the car. We're going to have a contest. We're looking for real estate investors to go to our website and give us a real estate tip. And you can have people that you know vote on the site about which real estate tip is the most quality, most valuable to them. So let's just say that our contest is going to be looking for quality real estate tips and for votes. So you need to get your friends, your family, people who care about you, and real estate investors who are willing to go on the site and vote for it. And I will give you this car.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse, and I want to go over some of my quick stock picks. All right, first of all, I'm a buyer at Boeing at this price. Look for $235 as an out price. I think it's a great price. Apple is on a tear. I predicted 160. It is right around the corner. Watch for coin to drop. If crypto keeps going down, I like anything under 240 and ride it to 260 if you want to invest in coin. I still like CCL and AAL into February. Something's going to happen. Most likely, it's going to be a protest from these mandates. You wait and see. You wait and see how people are going to stop. They're going to stop wearing masks, and eventually it's going to have to go away. All right. Gold and silver also slipped today, and I can't understand this one, but time will tell. Hey, look, I want to thank you guys for watching Money Chat today. Hit that share button, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. From time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in this show. The opinions discussed in this show is solely mine. No one's asked me to discuss them. Thank you again for watching Money Chat Now. We look forward to your continued support. Thank you. Thank you.